Hello dear friends. Every time the Cobra contactee speaks, he reveals many details about this process. We will not be allowed to blow up the planet. Earth will ascend with or without us. Opinion piece. We are going to win. Difficult times. Divine plan is joy. Ascension is perpetual joy. All signs point to something huge. There will be evacuation before a tsunami. It will happen when the time is right. If the light goes out, know that they are in control. Official science can't describe ascension. Volcanic activity and earthquakes will increase. Magnetic pole shift began in 19th century. Near collapse of surface Lightworker network. Legal basis established for direct divine intervention. There could be a planetary vote on galactic intervention. The entire humankind must be informed after the event. Artificial intelligence is not capable of generating art of the highest order. Let's start. This is the craziest and most unusual time in all of humankind's history, but we are going to make it. The next divine plan is to unite all into one. It will be to deepen the one, to deepen happiness, to deepen joy. It's a very beautiful plan. I congratulate all those who have been able to hold the light in these difficult times, says Cobra. New update from Cobra via the 2012 portal of the Intelligence Center for the Victory of Light. Some 15,000 humankind have participated in the Russia-NATO peace meditation. While this is far less than the critical mass, the meditation has helped to ease the tension to some extent. Meditation is still very much needed to reduce the damage from Hurricane Ian. Implant cleansing is underway, and one of the first effects is an increase in Kundalini energy. This has provoked protests in Iran, where many women are rebelling against the oppression of feminine energy. These protests have the capacity to overthrow the oppressive regime, and now oil workers are joining in. The forces of light ask anyone who feels guided to join in meditation to protect the safety of the protesters and to bring them the support of the energy of the goddess. Interview. In this interview, Cobra answered many questions about the current situation and the Ascension plan. The forces of light have been conducting several operations over the past few years and getting closer and closer to the surface. And now they have gotten so close that they are able to start removing the implants. It is a planetary process, and the quantum cannon technology is bombarding the surface of the planet. It's bombarding with its energy field the implants and biochips in every member of the surface population. And what they are doing is starting to remove the black holes from the implants. It's a very complicated and challenging process, but it's already underway, and it will be the same for everyone. The whole network of implants and biochips has to be removed. Individual reaction to the removal will be different, but the process is underway at the same time for everyone. When we come to the closing of this process, and when the implants and biochips are mostly gone, the individual life of the lightworkers will be better, lighter, less stressful, less negativity, less darkness, less attacks, and life will be a little more pleasant again after so long. That means that the ascension process can be easier. The major reduction of the primary and subquantum anomaly below low Earth orbit is expected to occur at the same time as this implant cleansing operation. As for the space-time distortion anomaly of the curve metric around the planet's surface, this anomaly changes the structure of space-time around Earth, and that distortion makes it easier to operate and maintain the veil of the dark forces. Without this anomaly, the dark forces would not be able to use their technology and the veil would disappear. The veil is the distortion of time in the curve metric and is a kind of support tool. The Stalker. In his latest update, Cobra mentioned an ancient dark entity called the Lurker. It is not very dangerous at the moment because much of it has already been dissolved. It is a very different type of entity. It is a different type of consciousness than any other entity. The closest thing to it would be the Yabaldaot entity, which has already been eliminated. Some Archons and the Chimera worship the Lurker and see it as a source of their evil. That means that the Lurker is superior to the Archons and the Chimera because this entity has been alive during the whole cosmic cycle and actually originates from the previous cosmic cycle. But it is a completely different type of consciousness. Darkness did not exist before 80 million years ago. The Stalker existed as a pure potentiality. It was not a manifested consciousness of darkness that only began 8 million years ago. The Pleiadians know why most of the key people in the positive armies are against the liberation plan. The main reason is because of implants, programming and selfishness. Some of them might change after the removal of implants, but at this time it is impossible to predict how the surface population will react to this. Geopolitics. Ukraine could be another Afghanistan and drag Russia's economy and politics into chaos if this conflict escalates into a new world war, which is unlikely, but still possible. It wouldn't be the same situation as in Afghanistan, but there is some potential for things to get a little more complicated. When the Queen's death was announced, a double rainbow appeared just above Buckingham Palace. It is actually an opportunity for the surface population to make better decisions, but the chances are that this opportunity will not be used in the right way, because the level of awareness is not high. The magnetic pole shift started smoothly already in the 19th century and is currently accelerating. What is expected before the final polar shift is an increase in volcanic activity and earthquakes. Intervention. After the critical mass of signatures was reached, the Pleiadians have communicated that a legal basis for their direct divine intervention on the surface of the planet is now established. All civilizations of the Galactic Confederation now have a legal basis for intervention. This request is legally binding on the Confederation, so they must intervene as soon as it is safe, and the first people to be contacted will be the star seeds. So those who voted for this intervention are the first ones who are going to receive it. The members of the Confederation should try to inform the entire surface population and then give everyone a chance to vote. That can happen after the event, when there is sufficient understanding of what the Galactic Confederation is. There could be a planetary vote on the future involvement of the surface population with the Confederation. Actually, that is scheduled to happen at a certain point in time. Collapse. The surface Lightworker network has almost collapsed. It means that the Lightworkers are not willing or able to hold any more light, and the critical mass of light that is necessary for the surface had no longer been maintained. So, the forces of light have managed to create an alternative solution to this problem. Their collapse was due to the severe attack of the dark forces, causing a lower frequency among them. There were two factors involved. The first factor in singular, was those attacks, which have severely damaged the ability of the Lightworkers to maintain frequency. And the other was the wrong, selfish, and stupid decisions of some Lightworkers, who behaved out of alignment with their higher purpose. Artificial intelligence is not capable of generating art of the highest order. It can generate generally pleasing and aesthetic art forms, but not masterpieces. Only a being that is in touch with its whole can manifest masterpieces. So, some relatively good artists may lose their jobs, but the best artists will never lose their work. Ascension plan. It is not possible to describe Ascension with official science in its present state of development. The chakras are energy vortices in the humankind's energy fields that transmit various frequencies of light. Merkaba is the body of light, which is a vehicle we use to achieve our ascension, and the process of elevation occurs when we are able to remove all anomalies and blockages from our energy field. We ascend when we achieve a superconductivity of the light body. It is said that the forces of light have a device that can drive the process of humankind's ascension. So, that is a very advanced technology which is used by ascended beings throughout the galaxy. Some rare individuals might achieve their ascension even before the first wave using that device, but most of the people who will go in the first wave will do so as a group, as a simultaneous planetary group process, when the time is right. Most of the surface population needs lifetimes, hundreds and thousands of years to reach ascension on other planets because they are not ready. Regardless of the level of technology, it is necessary to transform the humankind's consciousness from within. Technology can help, but the real work has to be done by living beings going through the ascension process. So, the percentage of the population that will undergo the actual ascension process would be very low. In reality, the state of consciousness after ascension can be described as eternal bliss. Before we reach ascension, we will not have to experience physical death and resurrection as Jesus did. When the ascension wave hits us, those who are ready will go, and those who are not ready will not go, obviously. There will be an ascension wave, which is akin to the galactic pulse, and everyone will be taken out of their own location and teleported to motherships where they will undergo the actual ascension process. The decision to evacuate will be based on the polar shift conditions, and everything will align perfectly. Everything will happen when the time is right. The world's population will exceed 8 billion this year. Only about 2,000 people out of the 8 billion will be qualified to participate in the first wave of ascension. These are people with highly developed consciousness, with much innocence and connection to the light. Then will come other ascension waves where many more people will participate. Question from Patrick. Why do the forces of light insist on relocating the surface population to the Pleiades? Can we simply move to the underground realm of Agartha, the Moon, Mars, or other planets in our solar system after evacuation? Cobra's answer. It is simply that the surface population has become so adapted to life on the surface They need a planet with an habitable surface, and Earth is the only planet in the solar system with a habitable surface. And as they are going to move on the next step of evolution, the humankind will no longer be fit to be here, so they will have to be relocated to a similar planet in the Pleiades. Most of the humankind will be evacuated to the Pleiadian system, to that planet. Some of the star seeds, star people, will go to other star systems, and some of them will go through the Ascension process. These will be individual decisions based on the vibrational frequency level of the people and their own preferences. People will be able to construct their environment, but then there will be a lot of creativity. So those environments will change and evolve. Most of the surface population will move to a Pleiades planet after the evacuation. This planet is virtually the same as Earth, with no pollution, no stress and no wars. The humankind that will live there will be guided by developed higher beings and will receive guidance, but will be able to take care of their own development in a harmonious way. 500 million people would have to be sent to the galactic central sun for reconstruction. It is simply a decree from on high that evil has to end, darkness has to end, and the people who choose darkness or evil have to disappear. There is no more room for that. Enough is enough. Everyone will be given the free choice to accept the light or not, and those who wish to accept the light will, of course, not be taken to the central sun, but the people who deliberately do evil and do not want to change will go. After the evacuation, there will be a huge tidal wave that will engulf most of the surface of the Earth. It will purge the surface of the planet of the pollution and distortions that humankind has created and give nature a chance to recover and revive. Renaissance. Question from Hoshino. The pulse wave emanating from the central galactic sun is also known as the galactic wave of love. Is it not contradictory to name as love something that can trigger a doomsday cataclysm? Cobra's answer: it is not, because it will not be a doomsday cataclysm. It will be a rebirth, a restructuring, a repositioning. It is something completely different. The Arhat initiation means the dissolution of the vertical implant. The vertical implant is the main obstacle to Arhat initiation. Arhat initiation actually gives you access to Buddha consciousness, but becoming a fully developed Buddha with a full potential is a much higher state of evolution. Nirvana is an all-encompassing state of consciousness. It is a state of awareness of the One. It is pure enjoyment that transcends space and time. Victory of the light. Reset news. All signs point to something huge happening in the next few days. If the lights go out, know that we are in control. Don't panic. We are ready and the assets are in place. Humankind of the future will look back at this moment and ask, what is this I'm seeing? Nothing that is happening now makes much logical sense. NATO and the United Nations Secretary General will soon make unprecedented statements. Zelensky says no to negotiations after Putin calls for peace. Parasites always start wars between Christian nations. Both nations are Christians, but it doesn't seem. Federal Reserve statement. 6 of the nation's largest banks will participate in a pilot scenario analysis exercise designed to improve the ability of supervisors and firms to measure and manage financial risks. Scenario analysis, which assesses the resilience of financial institutions under different hypothetical scenarios, is an emerging tool for assessing related financial risks, and there will be no capital or supervisory implications of the pilot. A river of fish materialized in the Arabian desert. The next at sea. How do you prepare for the global financial reset or restart? First, prepare yourself mentally and spiritually to endure hardship. Second, build connections with like-minded humankind. Third, build your skill set in such a way that you can provide some useful service in a black market economy. Fourth, develop as much personal self-sufficiency as you can. 5. Realize that in this day and age reputation and competence become the real currency in which transactions are made. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.